Okay, so we have Casey Mead from Casey's Laugh and Learn. He's going to tell us all about Rockin' Library Science Show.
Are y'all still awake? My name is Casey, Casey's Laugh and Learn. I am a library scientist by training, a storyteller by trade. I left libraries to go out on the road and do this sort of stuff. I do, like the owl, a different kind of storytelling. I do science storytelling, and I try to do it from the standpoint of a library scientist. I do 3 basic children's shows. Muggle Magic, the spells of Harry Potter brought to life of science. The Insane Science of Fairyland, so the Fairy Tales brought to life of science. And the Rockin' Library Science Show, which is a hodgepodge of everything that I do just because it's all the stuff I did when I was still a librarian. And I waffled about what I wanted to do for you guys today. I thought about doing maybe the true story of how my brother's been struck 3 times by lightning. True story. Decided that was probably a little too violent. It's really funny. I thought about maybe doing the not-so-true story of the Ice Dragon of Suffolk County, but then I decided I wanted to go ahead and go with the story that really started me on the road to doing this. Now, I am a former library scientist. For 15 years, I was a children's librarian in Michigan and North Carolina. When I first went ahead and got a job in libraries, it was a library in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, right about there. My very first day of work, my boss, Lise, walked in and she said, "Casey," and I said, "Lise." And she said, "Casey," and I said, "Lise." "Casey," and I said, "What do you want, Lise?" "I need you to do story time." Now, I had never done a story time, and I'll admit it, I kind of freaked out. I might have hyperventilated. I might have gone ahead and just, nodded on myself. I don't know, but I was freaking out. And Lise got me to comment, "Casey, I just needed to think back and remember the first story you ever read all by yourself." And I thought back. Now, the first story I ever read by myself with no help from the adults was the story of the 3 Little Pigs. Who here has read the story of the 3 Little Pigs? And that's what I said to Lise. This won't work. Everybody's read this story. There's no surprise ending in the story. Casey, it's a universal story, and you've got a whole collection of books out there. Now go out, go through them, and do story time. And it turns out she was right. There were all sorts of different versions of that story. The 3 Little Javelinas, which is pretty cool. 3 Ninja Pigs, which was karate-tastic. There was the 3 Little Wolves, the Big-Bag Pig, which was twisted and kind of violent and really cool. But the one that really spoke to me was the true story of the 3 Little Pigs by Jon Scieszka. Are you familiar with that book? Yeah, book. Now, Jon Scieszka believed that the Big Bad Wolf did not huff and puff and blow down houses. He believed that he huffed and puffed and sneezed down houses. And I thought, dude, that's brilliant. So, after I finished the story time, I went out and started doing what a good library scientist does, research. I went home and I taped my thumbs down the palms of my hands, and I built 3 houses in my backyard. One out of straw, one out of sticks, and one out of brick. Then I went back to the library and started researching coughs and colds. Raise your hand if you ever coughed. Raise your hand if you ever adults say, "Cover your mouth when you cough." Now, this is actually good advice, because when you cough, our diaphragm clenches up and forces the air to the lungs. If you don't cover your mouth, basically spit flies out everywhere. It's actually more fun when I get to do it back at kids. But the fastest recorded piece of spit to ever fly out of someone's mouth, for not covering their mouth when they cough, is about 58 miles per hour. So about this fast. Which it turns out is more than fast to blow down a poorly built straw house made by a pig with no opposable thumbs. Jessica was on to something. So I went back and I started researching sneezing. Raise your hand if you ever sneeze. Raise your hand if you ever adults say, "Cover your mouth when you sneeze." Adults, this information is for you. Sneezes come out your nose. You cover your mouth, the boogers go down the back of your hand. And this is why you find the mucus in the armpits of your children's shirts. Just saying, that's why I have it. Now, when you sneeze, it's the same thing. Your diaphragm clenches up, it forces the air out of your lungs. But instead of coming out your mouth, it hits these long, skinny straws in the back of your throat called sinus. Now, wind energy is weird energy. It's totally dependent upon the environment that it blows in. Wind blows across the flat plain. If you don't add energy to it, it'll stay pretty much at a constant speed. From the wind, breakdancing wind. But if it hits a constriction, a narrowing point, it'll increase in velocity and decrease in pressure. It'll get going really, really, really fast. Now, the fastest recorded booger is a very highbrow show. It was fly out of someone's nose, clocks in at 159 miles per hour.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
This is where I hurt myself in every show. This fast. Tastes like bacon. Need to wash this thing, I think. But turns out that 159 miles per hour is more than fast as to run on a poorly built stick house made by a pig with no opposable thumbs. The problem comes down to the third house, the one that's made out of
Brick.
See, in the story, it doesn't get blown down. But in real life, brick houses don't get blown down. They get blown out. This happens because of Bernoulli's principle. Now, Bernoulli, we're not going to go too deep into this, I only have 15 minutes, but Bernoulli was this guy who figured out that air has pressure. And changes in air pressure creates lift. Now, when air hits the side of a brick house, and I know this from going down to North Carolina to rebuild after hurricanes, the wind will hit the side of a brick house, it'll smash into it. It'll go up, over the roof, and down the other side. You get just a tiny bit of lift. It will lift the roof up a fraction of an inch. The air will rush into that tiny little gap, lifts the roof up into the air, and toss it away. The air will rush down to the hole where the roof used to be, and it blows the walls out on 2 or 3 sides of the house. Now, the easiest way to show you Bernoulli's principle is with a ping pong ball and a hairdryer. But I own 17 leaf blowers, and I have to justify those to my wife. So I'm going to try it this way, and hopefully it works. To the whole point of this, the true story of the Doodle Pig, as told to John Sheska by the wolf. Now you ready? Now you ready?
Yes.
Now you ready?
Yes.
Oh, I lost it. Guess my ears are uneven. Oh, that's too many of them. That's better. Did you hear me?
Yes.
Did I break your mic?
Yes.
There we go. Everybody thinks they know the story of the Doodle Pig, but no one knows the real story. Because no one knows my story. I'm the wolf. Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. Everybody say, hi, Al.
Hi, Al.
Now say it like you mean it. I'm a hungry wolf. Hi, Al.
Hi, Al.
Yeah. You see, the real story is about a horrible sneezing, coughing cold, and a cup of sugar. You see, way back, most of the timeline, I was baking a cake for my dear, sweet-sated grandmother's birthday, and I had a horrible, sneezing, coughing cold. When I realized I was short a cup of sugar. So I decided to go and borrow some from my neighbor. Now, my neighbor had just moved in, and he was a bit of a pig. When I say that I'm not being mean, I mean he was actually a pig. Pug nose, curly tail, smells of bacon, I love bacon. But it must have been very bright. I mean, he built his house out of straw. Who in their right mind makes a house out of straw? I went over to knock on the door. Before he could even touch it, the whole door fell down. He made the door out of straw. Who makes a door out of straw? I called out, little pig, little pig, are you in? There was no answer. I was just about to turn and walk away when I felt my cold coming on. Well, I hopped. And I snuffed. Count of 3, folks. I need a great big sneeze. 1. Never get. 2. Could happen to you. 3. That was pathetic. 1, 2, 3. Desidore Wolfana. Now, my granny always told me that if you find a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich that has been ruined with bread, lettuce, or tomato, eat that sandwich up. So that's just what I did. No, but now it's pretty much all full. But I still needed that cup of sugar. So I made my way down the road to my next neighbor's house. Now, he was one of the first little pigs, and he must have been a bit brighter. He made his house out of... I went up to the door. I called up, little pig, let me in. You that little porker said to me, go away, Wolf, you can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chin. I bet that old sack full of sugar didn't want to share being a pig, if you ask me. Well, that is nature. Well, I was just about to turn and walk away when I felt my cold coming on. Well, I huffed. And I snuffed. And you know where this is going. 1, 2, 3. And who would know it? The whole darn house fell down. And there, lying in the smoky room, was the second little pig, Now, my granny always told me that you can buy the sausage biscuit that hasn't been ruined with a biscuit. Eat that sausage up, so that's just what I did. You like brunch, run the whole. Well, by now I was pretty much more full, but I still needed that cup of sugar, so I made my way down to my third and final neighbor's house. The one who built his house out of brick. I went up and I knocked on the door. I called out, little pig, let me in. The little porker said to me, go away, Wolf, you can't come in. If this is about your granny's birthday cake, why, she can sit on a pin. Now, I'll be honest. People start talking bad about my granny, and I tend to lose it. I started screaming and screaming and stuffing and puffing. And that's when the police showed up. Followed by Fox News, those jealous canines. And they made me, the big, bad wolf. Huff, puff, snuff. Yeah. So that's kind of what I do. Your library might end up a little messy, but your kids will be happy all the way, and your parents will be happy all the way until the kids get in the dad's leaf blower at home and start decorating the yard. Funny side story. My daughter won a soccer tournament. Her coach cut down all the branches on the trees so they couldn't TP his house. And that's where I learned how to do this. So I bought my first leaf blower and 2 cases of toilet paper. 2 cases. 120-year-old in toilet paper. He still doesn't talk to me. It's awesome. But I do science storytelling. Told you the 3 shows. I do tend to go ahead and change them up to fit into the theme. This year's space, so we'll be doing Bernoulli and light and difference between supersonic and hypersonic flight and all that good fun stuff, and tie that in. And you'll get to hear the true story of my brother being struck by the lightning, which really did happen 3 times, possibly 4. We're not sure about the 4th one because he wasn't awake for it, but I think 4. If you're ever looking for teen or tween programs, I do teen and tween programming as well. Those are usually workshops. This summer I'm doing paper rocketry. I think I'm out of time. Did I come in under time? Did I do good? Thanks for listening, and the toilet paper is totally my gift to you. You can take that gift to you. You can sell it for like $5 a square at a music festival. Finally pay off those fees.
Or are you just coming up for a short period?
Since I'm coming from North Carolina, I would have to block book to be able to make it up here, and I am still here.